Hello and welcome to the next lesson. I'm so excited that you've gotten this far. You've done a lot of great work, a lot of mindset stuff, as you could tell, this business stuff. It's a lot of what happens in here. So congratulations. I know a lot of you are fighting the sort of resistance and the doubt that comes into play, but you know what? That's why this course exists. It's to help you get over that doubt, to help you take action, and you've taken a lot of baby steps along the way. Last couple lessons, some bigger steps along the way, but this lesson's going to be great too because I want to share with you the importance of prototyping. Now, don't be scared. It's not prototyping to the point where you're going to have like $1 million spent on some gizmo that may or may not work out for you. That's not the kind of prototyping we're talking about, even if you have a physical product. By prototyping, I mean you're coming up with something that you can feel and that's tangible. And I'll share what that means in a second, especially for those of you who are doing more information-based products. But I want to tell you a quick story. Back in 2010, I got really anxious and was really excited about an idea I had, and I found a developer to develop this idea into what essentially was a WordPress plugin. WordPress is a blogging platform that you can use to share content online, and I had hired a developer to develop a plugin for me. And this plugin, I was really excited about it. I really was just very interested in getting it out there into the market as soon as possible. It filled a need that I had, and I made the mistake, and you're already past me in this regard, I made the mistake of holding it secret. I didn't share it with anybody because I wanted to create it and build it and then sort of reveal it to the entire world and have everybody be excited about it. But the interesting thing was this project that was supposed to take about $3,000 and 3 weeks to create ended up taking 3 months and $15,000 to create. And I made a lot of mistakes along the way. The first mistake was I was chasing the money. I was doing it because all my other friends were doing WordPress plugins and I thought I could do the same thing and follow their lead. So that was the absolute first mistake. And as you know, money is important. You want your business to actually make money, right? But you are helping serve people first. And the way that you've been going throughout this course, you know that you are going to do that. So you don't have to worry about that. Secondly, I made the mistake of rushing into it and not developing my own prototype. And by prototype, I was actually building a WordPress plugin. I didn't wireframe exactly what I wanted it to do and look like. I had an idea in my head, like you have an idea now, but if you rush to the point at which you're going to build it now before you actually define what it is and start to get an idea of what this thing might actually look like and become, you're going to leave a lot of room for creativity for that person, whoever's going to be working it with you, or if you end up doing it yourself, you're going to struggle a lot because you wouldn't have put into place those things that need to happen before you start selling your thing. So by prototype, in that regard, I should have created a really quick sketch on what this WordPress plugin did, what it looked like, what each button turned into, where each button landed, visually what it looked like. If I did that, there would be a lot less back and forth between myself and the developer. And the problem was I shared with him what I wanted, not exactly what it looked like, but like I said, I had this idea, and what he brought back to me looked nothing like I had expected. And I got upset at him, which was not his fault because I didn't give him exactly what it should have been because I just rushed into it. So that's the whole purpose of this prototyping course. I actually ended up, just to make a long story short, ditching that project, wasting $15,000. I didn't even end up selling it. And the sad part about it was after I had it built, it was actually built and finally made the way I wanted it to. I didn't have any more money to spend on that particular project that I had budgeted for. And the sad thing about it is I actually reached out at that point to some of my friends and colleagues and people who I thought this would be useful for, and they didn't even think it would be actually something very useful. So I learned a huge lesson there. That was a big reason why this course actually exists, is so that you don't have to go through that pain. You can go through these sort of mini failures along the way, which is exactly what this is all about. Talking to people, learning, understanding these mistakes early on so that you don't make that big giant mistake like I did down the road. So I just wanted to get that out there and share that with you and show you the importance of prototyping so you don't have any confusion when it comes to how you present this to others, what they think this is going to become. And so when you end up creating this, you also know what it becomes. It just isn't guessing anymore. You're actually creating it into something. So a prototype for you could be one of a few things. It depends on what kind of business you're creating. If you're creating a service type business, it's going to be different than if it was informational, different than if it was a product. Now I'll start with product based. This is if you have a physical product, and that's easy because you can just actually create the thing. So for me, when I create my prototype, it's going to be an actual physical item. And the reason why this is important too is because you're actually going to do a lot of mental thinking and decision making along the way. So for me, I can actually get cardboard, like literally get materials to do this, and it could look very bad. It doesn't need to look great at all. You're not selling this thing yet. You're just using it as kind of a study for what it is that you're creating. And when you share it with others, they'll be able to more visually see what this thing is actually going to be, or understand what that service is going to be, or know exactly what they're going to get when that website opens or that book comes out, or so on and so forth. So for me, I'd actually build out the calendar, and I'm at the point now where I need to do a little bit more research on what's out there, what would differentiate it, taking a lot of what I incorporated into my one page, one paragraph, one sentence exercise, and actually putting that into place in a physical manner. So what's going to be really cool is I'm going to lay it out, I'm going to have things built, and I'll be able to see, is this too big, is this too small, is this the right shape, do these work together, do these not work together, what's it like if I were to pin stuff on it, what's it like if I were to dry erase on it, like what is that experience like? And then I can also come up with something that I can share with others. So hey guys, I'm creating this wall calendar, here's like a really early prototype version of it, what do you think? And I'll get some really golden answers from people that are going to help me decide, where to take it next and actually what this thing becomes. So that's an example of a physical product. If you have a service-based business, for example, one thing that you can do is actually, it kind of depends on what kind of service-based business. So if you have, for example, design expertise and you're sharing with others, you're freelancing, you're sharing your skills with others, and that's what you want to test. Well, then you'd come up with some sort of portfolio, right? Show your work. That's really what the service-based sort of prototyping is like. Show off your work. Create a little video of you actually doing that thing if possible. So I think that would be really helpful. But maybe it's a vision board or some sort of, pictures of you actually putting into practice what it is that you're going to be serving people with. That could be a really easy way for you to create a prototype that's going to help people understand better and more visually what it is that you're going to be offering. So you can move forward with that and see if that works. And then lastly, information-based. A lot of you might want to create a book or a website or a membership site. Actually write down what this thing actually looks like. If it's a website, have sketch it out and have a mock-up. It doesn't even need to be great. It doesn't even need to be the exact way it's going to be, but you want to begin to start putting things into shape in a format that is going to be easy for you to share with others. So, what do people see when they land on that website, if it's a website? If you're creating a podcast, for example, and that's what the thing that you're going to share with the world, record your first episode and see what that's like, or just create a mock episode and see if people will actually listen to it, for one, and two, you'll be able to get some great responses from it, which is awesome. Drawing is a fantastic tool. Sketching is great. As you know, I came from the architecture world, and the big struggle with me with architecture was I didn't know how to sketch very well. But I learned that over time that it doesn't need to look great. It's the motions of doing it and what you're understanding as you're actually drawing is going to be really helpful. So for those of you who have physical products, if you're going to draw, if you can't get a prototype, if you don't want to 3D print anything, which if you have the capability to do that, that'd be awesome, but most people won't, and that's okay. So if you can't do that, draw a sketch or have some friend of yours sketch it out for you, or there's a website out there called Fiverr, Fiverr.com, where there's a lot of great resources, people sharing their own skills in a freelancing kind of way, and they might be able to help you take a concept and actually draw a sketch of it for $5. That's the concept of Fiverr.com. So that's a pretty cool, fun resource I use for small mini validation projects like this. If you're doing a service-based business, write another thing beyond sharing the video and a picture of what it is that you have to offer. Another thing that you can do is create a quick little one sheet. And by one sheet, I mean just a bullet point of what it is that you're going to be offering. Keeping in mind, especially with a service, what are they going to get on the other end? After they hire you, or after they work with you, or after they get access to the thing that you're offering, how's their life going to be different? What's going to change? So keeping that in mind in terms of what you offer. So again, just chatting with you about this, there's not much else to say except go and create your prototype and have fun with it. I think this is a really fun part of the process, and it actually is really enlightening because this is when things actually become real. Again, you're not making any big decisions yet on whether or not this is something you're going to sell, but it's something that you're going to show. And don't worry about it looking great. I know some of you are going to be like, oh, I don't know how to draw, or I don't know how to do this. Well, if you don't know how to do that, what is it that you can share with others that will help them better understand this thing that you have to offer? And just move forward with it, have fun, and once you have that done, share your prototype in the Facebook group. I think that'd be really interesting for people to see, where you're at, and I think it'll be really actually encouraging to you to see some great feedback from the community and get a lot of other great ideas too. So good luck. I'm going to work on my prototype too, and keep moving forward. You guys are doing great. In the next video, you're actually going to be sharing your prototype, sharing your one sentence with other people, and actually trying to get email addresses from people who want to learn more about this thing you have coming out with. It's going to be really exciting, really fun. I'm super stoked for you. So hopefully you have that energy to keep going. I know you do, and I'll see you in the next video.